My adopted sister threw my science trophy at my head, screaming, "You don't deserve this," and poisoned my food for getting into college. When I begged my mom to help, she said, "Don't display achievements where Chloe can see them," and later snapped, "If you want what's best for your sister, you'd help her heal." I didn't say a word. That was 8 years ago. This Thanksgiving, she stood on my lawn, screaming that I'd traumatized Chloe all over again. In my family, we were taught that love meant watching my adopted sister Chloe destroy my achievements while screaming, "You don't deserve this," and then forgiving her without an apology. You see, my sister Chloe is now 24, and we adopted her when she was 15 from foster care. When I was 16 and Chloe had just joined our family, I won the regional science fair. I wanted her to be my best friend, so she was the first person I told. Her immediate response was to grab my medal trophy and throw it directly at my skull. "You don't deserve this," echoed through the house before she crumpled to the floor. As my mom stared at me, curled into a ball and crying, she reminded me that it was all my fault. Don't display achievements where Chloe can see them. This set the tone for the next 8 years of my life. It wasn't until one perfect afternoon last spring that the tone was broken, because that's when I got the Johns Hopkins acceptance letter. A lifetime of academic pressure, imposter syndrome, crying into textbooks, all led up to that one moment. I called friends, posted the acceptance, and looked at Baltimore apartments. I was just Mia, not Chloe's trigger, not the family sacrifice, just a future doctor planning her escape, until my mom came home and found me celebrating. "This is wonderful. We need to plan how to make this work." She smiled like she was saying something nice, but her eyes said otherwise. And after an hour of fake niceness, the truth leaked out. "Of course, Chloe will need to come with you. Baltimore has excellent trauma programs, and she can't handle you leaving. I'll help with rent if you get a 2-bedroom. Chloe, in my apartment, with access to my medical equipment, my study materials, my future. Mom, you know what happens when she sees me doing well. She hasn't had an episode in months," she lied, as if Chloe hadn't destroyed my MCAT prep books last week. "If you want what's best for your sister, you'd help her heal." The thing about Chloe's past is that Mom told me the story constantly. Chloe was the scapegoat in her foster family. Nothing violent, just 1,000 small cruelties. No birthday presents while the bio daughter got parties. Hand-me-downs while the other girl got new clothes. Report cards ignored while bees got celebrated. "You don't deserve nice things" became their catchphrase. Now Chloe was making it mine. She was stronger, colder, and tougher than me, but even she had an Achilles heel. And that was her predictability. 10 minutes of staring meant destruction was coming. 15 minutes meant total annihilation. Hide anything that matters. Never celebrate where she can see. But medical school can't hide 4 years of achievement. I remember being 18 when Chloe found my college acceptance letters. I didn't find out until I was sitting at the kitchen table, because that's when I noticed a faint white powder in my food. I knew from the smell that it was rat poison. "What the F, you crazy bitch," I exclaimed, pointing my fork at Chloe. Chloe just cackled like a maniac, while my mom lectured me about how I shouldn't brag and the importance of being humble. That was the moment I realized my mother wasn't denying the pattern, she was protecting it. I told Mom no, that Chloe wasn't allowed to be anywhere near my dorm, but she could visit Baltimore, FaceTime me all the time, and I'd come home for holidays. I even offered to research trauma programs near home. "Then I'm not helping with any school expenses," Mom snapped. "Fine, I'll take out more loans," I responded with a sigh. The next 2 months were a living hell. Mom called relatives saying I was abandoning my traumatized sister. She brought Chloe to my pharmacy job to practice separation. Chloe stared at my white pharmacy coat for 10 minutes before knocking over an entire display of medications. "You don't deserve this," my manager asked them not to return. Fast forward to the week before my white coat ceremony. My aunt called me. "Your mother bought plane tickets. She says you can't exclude Chloe from family milestones. She's been staring at your white coat photo online for days." I knew what that meant. Mom had spent 8 years making sure I understood that Chloe's trauma mattered more than my future. Every destroyed achievement had a matching excuse about foster care. But I wasn't a scared, people-pleasing 16-year-old girl anymore. I was a woman who knew my worth, and I was ready to bite back. So I started planning. First thing I did was change the ceremony location on all my social media. Posted about how they moved it to a different building on campus. Then I called the school and explained my situation. The security guard, Douglas, was super understanding. He said he'd keep an eye out for anyone matching their description. I also asked my roommate, Patricia, to be my lookout. She knew the whole Chloe situation already. The morning of the ceremony, I woke up at 5 a.m., couldn't sleep anyway from nerves. I grabbed my white coat from its hiding spot in Patricia's closet. Yeah, I've been hiding it there for weeks. Learned my lesson about keeping important stuff in my own room. I got dressed in the bathroom with the door locked. Even put a chair against it. Paranoid?